Hey everybody, are you looking to find a way to make $500 per hour playing craps? That's right, you can make up to $2,000 per session if you're playing, let's just say 4 hours at the craps table. Find out how you can do that right here. You don't want to miss this. Hey guys, welcome back to Mark the Point. Wow, I have a good strategy here for you today. I've been practicing this on my table, and I've been winning a lot doing it. I'm just going to tell you, it's a higher risk, but I have been winning a lot of money. There is a regression built in, so you're going to be able to getting a lot of the risk off the table. And guess what? It only takes two hits. Two hits, that's a box number, which sometimes can be hard, but it only takes two to be able to win this bet. Let me show you what to do. We're going to start off with $330. Now, a lot of people, when they say $330, they're typically talking about the inside, 330 on the inside. But in this case, it's spread out. So typically it's, that's 330 inside. But we're going to take $25 to put on the 4 and 10, only make the 9 and the 5 $50. And of course, your 6 and 8 will still be at $90 each. So $90, $50, 25, almost like a little pyramid, right? So this is going to be 330 across. Now, it doesn't matter what we're going to do here. The first thing we're always going to do is get the point set first before we make any of our bets. So all bets are off. We're not going to play a pass line, no come bets, no field bet. We're just straight up box numbers on this system. Okay, 330 across. Your very first hit, it doesn't matter what you hit. Your very first hit, you're going to do a press. So 330 press, exactly. 2 hits is all you need though. We're going to do the different scenarios because different ways, I would play it different ways. If it hits the 6 or the 8, remember the $90 will pay you 105. Okay, 90. It doesn't matter which one of these will pay you 105. Well, we're going to press up all of the box numbers on the outside. We're going to press up the 10, the 9, the 5, and the 4 all the way. So now everything on the table would, and you just go right, it's $5. Now everything on the table will pay you $100 or $105. It'll pay you black chip either way. Okay, that's the first thing. Now the second hit of anything out here, remember everything pays me 100. Okay, it don't matter what it is. Let's call it the 5. The 5's at a $75 bet. That'll pay me 105. Instantly, what I'm going to tell the dealer to do is take me down to 110 inside. That's going to be super easy because all they're going to do is just take down $5 off of one of your bets. You have your 110, and then we're going to gather everything else here into the rack. Okay, now let me show you what that looks like. Remember, you started with 330 on the inside. You're going down to 110. Okay, so this is your bet now, 110. And guess what, guys? That's 1, 2, 300 and 30. That is your initial investment. This is coming back to your rack, and you've profited. That's $25. Remember, that was a $5 from a while ago, and you've profited $100 automatically by that regression, and you still have a $110 bet on the inside. That is one shooter, $100 off the bank. You have no risk whatsoever, and you have your full investment back of 330 that you was planning on betting. Now, if you think about this, $100 per shooter. Let's just say 5 shooters. Guess what? That's $500. 10 shooters. That's $1,000. It's a beautiful way of playing. Now, I get it. You're not going to get 2 hits every single time. There are a lot of risk in that, but for every 3 shooters that this works for, it buys you a full shooter of 330 across minus $30, of course. Okay, I'm going to show you one more other way of doing this because I'm going to press these up a little bit different each time. Let me show you what we're going to do. Okay, so again, I'm going to start back over at the 330 across just to show you the different ways of how you're pressing this on the very first roll. Okay, so again, we're going to start out at a 330 on the inside. Let's show you what that looks like. Okay, I'm going to pull everything else back. Just like this, pull all this back, pull all this back. Okay, so now we're back at our base on 330 across. We are still on the 9 as the point. Okay, now let's just say I showed you how the 6 and 8 work. Now let's show you the 5 and 9, how that works, okay? If you hit the 5 or the 9, and really this kind of going to have to go for the 4 and 10 too. It's up to you how you want to spread it out. But the 5 and 9 will pay you $70. 5 and 9 pays you $70. Of course, the first thing I'm going to do is press my 5 and 9. and I'm going to make the 4 and 10 look like 35 each. Okay, so I'm going to use all that money, spread it out. 5 and 9 now looks like 75. The 4 and 10 looks like 35. The beauty about this is the 6 and 8 will pay you $105. The 9 pays you $105, and the 10 pays you 70. So worst case scenario in this situation is you get a 10, but you're still getting paid $70, and you're bringing everything back down for still having profit into your rack. That is the goal. 2 hits and down. Guys, it's absolutely the best system I can think of, with a big start out, regress down to 110 on the inside, collecting $100 per shooter, and that's not including once you get to 110 inside, you're still going to play a betting progression where you're putting money into your rack with no risk whatsoever to your bankroll. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to roll this out. I'm going to show you how you can make $500 per hour, $100 per shooter, almost guaranteed. Almost guaranteed. You can't say guaranteed. There's no guarantees in life, especially at a casino. So I want to make sure I note that. However, I feel like that we can make really good money. You can make really good money playing this type system. Let's roll it out and see if we can make some money. Here we go. All right, here we go. Let's get a point established and let's get this thing going. Let's roll it out. Here we go. Again, starting with $2,000 in our starting bankroll. That is $1,800 in blacks and $200 in greens. I did it that way because I know I'm going to be using a lot of greens, and I need them in my rack, or I need them in the payout so I can feed my rack. That's a Yo 11. Still hasn't had anything come out. There's a 7. We're going to get this thing started here, okay? We haven't got a point yet. Let's get a point. Okay, it's the 8, the 6-2. Perfect. So let's mark the point on the 8. And there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can drop down $400. You can drop down $350. That's what we're going to do. We're going to drop down $350. Remember, the initial bet is $330, so I give you $20 back in change. But all this is now is going to be green chips. So I'll show you what it's going to look like. So remember, you're going to have $25 on the 4 and 10, $50 on the 5 and 9, $90 on the 6 and 8. Boom, just like that. Okay, the 8 is the point, and we are ready to roll. Looking for 2 numbers. Now, I did have an idea about doing a hot bet on, just say, like 2 of these numbers, like the $5 hot bets on the horn, or even like the midnight and aces. But I got to think, and really, you're kind of limiting how much money you're making out here. But that is an option if you want to do that. Cover 2 of these at a $5, and they'll still pay you really good. Okay. All right, here we go. That is the 5, guys. That is the pair in the tray, the waitress. So that's a $50 bet. That's going to pay me 70. Remember, I'm going to press up the 5 and 9 first, and I'm going to make the 4 and 10 look like 35. Remember, you will have to pay a vig at the casino, whether it's pre-vig, post-vig, to be able to make those work. I'm not going to pay vigs on my table. Here we go. And there's a Yo 11, still no help to me. And there's a 6. Beautiful. 4-2. All right. So what's going to happen? We've already gotten 1 hit. This is our second hit. It only takes 2 hits to get in profit, okay? That's a $90 bet. That will pay me $105. I'm going to drop down $5 out of one of these bets. It doesn't matter which it is, because I'm going to tell the dealer, take me 110 on the inside. They'll do that for you anyways, and they're just going to collect all your bets. Just one easy collect. Everything here is going to come to the middle of the table and then come back to you. However, all this is coming back to your rack regardless, okay? So then they're going to drop you off and go 110 on the inside, and you're ready to roll. From here, you can spread out. You can do a press. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do just to show you how I would play it. But here we go. Let's show it out. All right, and there's a hard 8, guys. That is the square pair. That's the point. That's going to pay me $35. I'm going to collect the first quarter to put a quarter back into my rack. And I'm going to drop you can drop singles if you have singles, but you're going to tell them take me to 42. So that's going to go up by 2. They'll give you $3 back in change. Either way, right now the puck is off. You get the first hit. Now, second hit, because I've already put $25 back in my rack, secured a little bit more profit, right? Now I'm going to go to the 4 and 10 on my next hit, but let's get another point established. And that is going to be the 9, the center field, 6-3, okay? Let's mark the point on the 9, and let's roll this out. Let's see if I can get another inside hit. That's aces, guys. That's the snake eyes. Dots in both places. How about that? We turn the dice upside down. That's 12, craps 12. And there's a 9 back on the 9, 6-3. Beautiful. Okay, that $25 bet will pay me $35. I'm going to press it up by 2 units or $10 each time until I get to the higher levels, and then I'll start pressing a little bit bigger. But that quarter is going to come back to the rack. That is the point. And actually, I told you we're probably going to spread this out, didn't I? Let's do that. I said I'm probably going to spread out to the 4 and 10. So I'm going to drop down $5 out of that. And I'm going to make it look like $15 each on the 4 and 10. So that way now I have everything covered. I still got to press on the 9, but I have everything covered. The point is still off. Let's go and get another point set. Another boxcars 12, no help. And there's the 5, the 4-1. Perfect. Okay, let's mark the point on the 5. And now we're ready to just start collecting, pressing, just whatever we can do to make some money. Back on the 5. That is another point. Okay, that's going to pay me $35. Again, same thing. Press it up by 10. Rack the quarter. Okay, now we're making more money per shooter. Okay, not just $100 no more. We're just short of $100 because it hit the 4 in that time. But we're making more money each shooter by doing this. Okay, there's a 7. That's come out roll. No help. It doesn't matter. I'm not playing a pass line, but my bets are safe because I'm not working my bets on the come out roll. And it's the 8, the 6-2. Okay, mark the point on the 8, and we're ready to roll. Let's keep this thing going. Here we go, shooter. That's back on the 8. Oh my gosh, another point. Okay, now that's at a $42 bet. That will pay me $50 for 1. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and collect it, be a little bit more conservative sometimes, put some money back into my rack. Now, once I get to a much higher profit level, from that point on, then I'm going to start pressing more aggressively. Okay, I'm going to wait till I get a little profit before I start pressing a little bit more aggressively. That's a little later on. Okay, it's going to be on the 9. That's a 6-3 center field. Come on, shooter, let's go. And there's your 5-2-7. That's okay. That's all right. That was a good run. We expected it to come at some point in time. Got a couple hits of it, but most importantly is we were playing out of the hand, meaning we did not have any risk on the table. Everything there was a free bet from the casino. Okay, let's turn the puck off. Let's go and get a point set, and then we'll go ahead and start off with a new point here. Okay, it's a 5. That is another the waitress, the 3-2, the pair in the tray, and we're gonna drop down another 330 again. Okay, so remember. 330 is going to be 25 on the 4 and 9. This could be 50 on the 25 on the 4 and 10, 50 on the 5 and 9, and then it's going to be let's go and pull it, make that a quarter, and it'll be $90 on the 6 and 8. So I am $5 short. Let's make it look there. So there we go. We are ready to roll. 5 is the point. Let's see if we can generate some money. 2 hits. 2 hits. That is the 9, the center field. Perfect. So that's going to pay me $70. Okay. I'm going to press up my 5 and 9. And I'm also going to use the leftover to press up the 4 and 10. Okay. Looking for one more hit. That's what we're showing. And there's a square pair. The hard 8. Beautiful, right? That 8 is going to pay me $105. It's a $90 bet. Will pay me $105. Remember, drop down $5 down until the dealer take me down to 110. That's the 110 that they need. That means everything else here is coming back to the rack, just like this right here. So all this is coming back, and I'm just going to grab a quarter out of this. That way it doesn't look so ugly in the chip rack. Put it all in the same bet here. So now that's my money back. This is my 110 on the inside, and we are ready to roll. That is a square pair. The point is the 9. Let's get another hit. And there's back on the 9. No, point's a 5. Sorry. The point is the 5. That was a 9. This is a 9. That will pay me $35. Remember, I'm just going to probably collect that first one. I could still just collect the quarter if I wanted to. Press up just a little bit. Not too much yet. But once we get into bigger profit, we are going to start pressing more aggressively. And that's a 10, the hard 10, not on the 4 and 10 yet. I usually wait about 2 rolls. It doesn't matter this time because that's a 7. I usually wait about 2 rolls of collecting before I make it to the 4 and 10, just because I want to try to generate a little bit more money into my rack before I start spreading it out. But it's totally up to you. If you want that first hit, want to go straight to the 4 and 10, totally up to you, however you want to play it out. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and try this out again. Again, we were out the hand. 2 rolls is all we needed, so that's fine. Let's turn the puck off. Let's get another point set. And, drop this. And here we go. All right, it is going to be on the 10. That is Big Ben. Let's mark the point on the 10. Let's drop down another 330. Okay, 25, 50, 75, 75, 50, 25. Let's go ahead and drop these down here. And again, generated a little bit more money on that one, which is great. All I need is this quarter here. And let's pull that back. Let's put 15 on the 6, and everything here else comes back to the rack. Remember, all this right now is profit. We're 100% back into where we're supposed to be. Let's pull all this back. The 10 is the point, and we are ready to roll. Here we go. That's a 10. We hit the point. Okay, 6, 4, 10. Now that's going to pay me $50. All I can do here is just press the 5 and 9. That's okay. It could happen where you hit the 4 and 10 again. It doesn't matter. Okay, we're only looking for 2 hits. If you go 3 hits or 4 hits or whatever it is, you're going to risk getting the 7 out. Okay, let's just go for 2 hits, accept what little profit that you make, and then get out the hand. Okay, here we go. So that is the point. Let's go and turn it off. And now it's going to be on the 5. That's the 4, 1. Let's mark the point on the 5. And let's continue this out. Let's go. And that's a 6. Beautiful. It did work out this time, right? So that's going to pay me 105, right? I'm going to put the $5 back in here. I'm going to re-rack everything else. Say me take me down to 110 on the inside. So that means all this is coming back to your rack. Okay. And here's your 110 on the inside. Just like that. And we are ready to roll. The 5 is the point. Let's go, shooter. There's a 6 to 5, 1. Easy 6. That's perfect. That'll pay me $35. Again, I'm going to drop down $2 to the dealer. I have it right here. Make it like 42. Put the $25 back into the rack. That's an 8 to 5, 3. Easy 8. Perfect. Okay. Again, same thing. That'll pay me $35. Now I don't have any extra ones. So what I'll do is I'll make a little bit of change. 3 back into the rack, and make that quarter go to the rack here. Make that look like 42. Put this $5 back over here. All right, there we go. Let's keep it going. I probably could have pressed up the 4 and 10 there. I did hit the chip, by the way. I probably could have pressed up the 4 and 10 there. Let's do it. If we get another hit here, let's do it here. Another 3, craps 3, no help. Straighten it up just a little bit. And there's another 8. Beautiful. Okay. So what's going to happen? That'll pay me 50 for 1. Okay. It'll pay me 50 for 1. At that point in time, I could pick them both up for a quarter. It got a good hit, right? I could pick them up for a quarter. I could pick them up for 15 each. Totally up to you on your risk tolerance. I'm not sure why I'm turning off the puck. I shouldn't have. That is the 8. So let's keep this thing going. And there's a 3, craps 3. That's another 3. It's like 2 or 3 of them here lately. There's a Yo 11. How about that? Turn the dice upside down. And there's a 6. Beautiful. Okay, 5, 1. Now here's what we can say. We've got a couple hits. We're in profit. Let's be a little bit more aggressive here. Actually, I need to get some more green chips. Is kind of what I need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this $500. That is $500, and give myself 500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I need some green chips anyways. That's there. So that's going to pay me 50 for 1. Okay. Let's grab $1 out here, and I can go up to a $60 bet now. So make it look like 60. Put the rest of it back into the rack. And so all this is coming back to the rack here, back here. And let's keep this thing going. Here we go. There's a 5. That is the point. The 3, 2. Okay. All right. That's going to pay me $35. Go to 35. Put this one back into the rack. And let's keep this thing going. Let's turn off the point. And that is going to be the 3 again. How about that? Let's pay the don't pull the pass line. That's an 8. Okay, perfect. 5, 3. All right, mark the point on the 8. And let's keep this thing going. That's a 9, center field, 6, 3. Perfect. That paid me 35. All right. Make it like 35. And put the $25 back into the rack. Let's go. And there's a Yo 11, no help. A lot of horn numbers tonight. And there is the hard 10. Beautiful. Okay. That's the hard 10. That's going to pay me $50. I'm going to put it look like 50. Put the $25 back into the rack. Come on, shooter. And there's an 8. 5, 3. That is the point. Okay, we can do that same thing we just did. That's going to pay me $50 for 1. So basically what I'll do is I'll make it look like 60. And I'll put the rest of it back into the rack. But that is the point. Let's go and turn it off. Guys, two good shooters. But the best part about this is you got your 2 hits and down, right? This is your $2,000 we started with. This is profit. This is profit. Everything in the rack here, everything you see on the board is all 100% profit because you've locked in your original bankroll. So we're riding pretty high right now, right? And there's a 10. So mark the point on the 10. And here we go. Let's see if we get a couple more rolls out of this thing. And there's a 6 to 5, 1. Beautiful. Okay. So at that point in time, you can bet as aggressively as you want to. From here, I like to go to a $90 bet. It pays me 70. It goes to a $90 bet. Put the rest of this back into the rack, just like that. And there's another 3, another horn number. And there's an 8. Beautiful. Okay. Again, that's going to pay me 70, right? I go to a $90 bet. The rest of this comes back to the rack. So I'm ready to roll. I got black chips ready here, ready to roll. Let's go. And that's a 4, 3, 1. Beautiful. That's going to pay me 50. Make it look like 25. Put the rest of it back into the rack, just like that. Let's go. Let's go. There's your 7. That's okay. It's going to happen. It happened here, right? That is your 7. So this roll came to an end. However, what a beautiful way of play. I love it. I love the 2-hit regression. A little bit higher start out bankroll, but at the end, it works out really well. Let's find out how much we made, guys. Again, this is a very short. It doesn't always work out like this. Let's go ahead and say it. You can lose if you have short PSOs or one hitting downs. Of course, you're going to lose a little bit of money. Don't let me refrain from saying that. You do have an option or a possibility for loss. But if you can get on a table where you're getting 2 hits, you're going to make some money. Okay, let's go and see how much we ended up making here. Now, remember, this is my $2,000. That is my starting bankroll. Let's go ahead and show you out. That's 500, 1,000, 15, 1, 2, 3, so 500, 1,000, 500, 1,000. So that's $2,000. That's my initial starting bankroll. Now, everything else here, of course, is profit, and that should be $500. I'll count it out just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am 1 short. 5. That is $500. My pinky didn't grab it. So that's $500. And let's count out the rest of this. 25, 50, 75, 80. So 500, 575, 584. 584 bucks. Guys, I love it. I love it because you're making right at $100 every shooter as long as you can get two hits, not including the money that you're making after your 110 inside. A slow progression roll, putting money back into your rack, almost like a half press, then spread out to the 4 and 10. You have so many options. Totally up to you how aggressive you want to be. Okay, guys, let me know in the comments, can you get 2 hits? How often do you see 2 hits on the table? Is this something you'd want to play at the tables? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that like button, guys. That really helps out the channel. If you found this video informative, please hit that like button. I appreciate it. Until next time, mark the point and stay awesome.